Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei found out that Xenovia is daughter of Jhon Wick movie. Before we start, please go support QworRoses for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Xenovia Quart will discover that the church kidnapped her when she was just a baby, and the only memory of her father was a gold coin, and the DxD group discovered that Asia and Xenovia are half-sisters and both have the same coin, but nobody knows who their father is, but from the shadows someone watches them. The beginning of the hunt. Many years ago, you could see a guy with his car, and inside the car was a baby and a dog. Subject: how much for the car? Not for sale, friend, he said, starting to walk towards the driver's seat. Subject 2: and how much for the baby? It's not for sale either, he said in an annoyed tone, getting into his car and leaving the place. Subject: we counted the carrier of Durandal. Subject 2: you already know the car, I'll stay with the girl. Subject: okay Fred, but what do you want it for? Fred, you said it. Joseph is the bearer of Durandal. The church wants her to be an exorcist, no matter how, but they want her. At night at S house, you could see a group of guys speaking in Russian, hitting another, killing the dog. When they finished, you could see Fred holding the baby while she was crying and the other guys leaving in the car with Fred. In the Italian church, priest: ah Fred, I see that in contrast to the Durandal carrier, we will assign her to a nun to take care of her. Fred: yes, future pope. Priest: wait, the little girl has something in her little hands, he said, to take the coin and see it in great detail. Keep it, we will tell her that her father abandoned her. In a mafia center, Vigo: Joseph, you know what you did. ISF: I just stole the car from a good-for-nothing. Vigo: that good-for-nothing is Jhon T/N. Wick used to be my partner. I saw him kill 3 guys in a bar with a pencil, a damn pencil. But after working with me for several years, he decided to retire from the business. Obviously it was because of a girl. His wife was pregnant with a girl, and your son is mine. You go to his house, beat him up, steal his car, kill his damn dog, and even worse, you steal his daughter. Joseph: I can fix it, father. Vigo: so tell me how. Joseph: finishing what I started. Vigo: hey ISF, he said, hugging his son and speaking in his ear. Jhon, I came for you and no one can do anything. No one. Now get out of my house. At Jhon T/N. Wick's house, Jhon could be seen breaking parts of the floor until he unearthed a chest and received a call. Vigo: hi Jhon, I heard about your wife. I'm sorry, my condolences. I know what my son did made you very angry. But please let's be adults and talk, Jhon. He said so that he would then hang up the call and leave Caesarea. Several years later, Italy. Jhon T/N. Wick could be seen walking through the streets of Italy with a girl by his side. Jhon, I know you've been through a lot, but let me help you. Jhon: Maria: no, I have to do this only if I find my daughter. I'll leave Italy. Please protect yourself if she already does, he said, the last thing pointing to the woman's belly. Maria: I'll wait for you, Wick. Jhon: I know Argento, I know, he said, to say goodbye to the woman and on his way to a church or training camp for bearers of sacred weapons. Xenovia: come on Irina, you can do better, said the blue-haired girl with a green streak to her orange-haired friend. Irina: no, you are very strong but I am very fast, she said, to continue attacking the blue-haired girl, but the aforementioned one, when retreating, came out a pendant with the coin that Irina cut, and the coin fell to the ground. Xenovia: no. The girl screamed as she ran after her father's coin. I have you, she said while taking the coin in her hands. Irina: Xenovia, why do you keep that coin if you know that man abandoned you and it's just a coin, she said, so that her blue-haired friend turned to her face and a moderate anger was seen on it. Xenovia: it doesn't matter if he abandoned me. He's my father, and why would someone bad according to you leave me something to remember him by? Hey, my father, as far as I'm concerned, was murdered and some bastard left me here because my father would never leave me, she said, still looking at her friend with a cold look. I'm going to train on your own, she said, to go out and take her Excalibur. Inside the church, Jhon could be seen talking to a nun. Nun: I already told you, sir, that we don't have any girl with that description. Jhon: please, she was separated from me for a long time and I'm looking for her. Nun: I'm sorry, sir, but all the children who were here were taken to a priest. I think his last name was Valdi or something like that. I don't remember well. I'm really sorry. Jhon: thank you, he said as he left the church, dialing on his phone. Nun: he is Xenovia's father, God, but they told me that they abandoned her and Fred found her. Could it be that he actually stole her? Currently, Xenovia could be seen looking at the coin to see if it had any meaning. Issei, what do you see, Xenovia? Xenovia, the only memory of my father. I never knew his name, but I do know one thing. He is out there looking for me, and when he finds me I will go with him. If you want to know the meaning of that coin, I can tell you. Issei, who are you? My name is Marcus. I was a friend of her father, he said, pointing to Xenovia, who was surprised. Your father is called Jhon and Wick, and don't look for him. He will find you sooner or later, he said to leave and give another gold coin to Xenovia. You are identical to your mother. The same eyes as Wick and your mother's hair. Goodbye, Mini Wick. Issei, well, we know your father's name. Xenovia, yes, Jhon and Wick. That means my real name would be Xenovia Quart. Issei, it sounds like a mafia thing, but in reality it sounds nice. Xenovia, thanks Issei-kun, let's go. At the airport in Japan, Jhon, I finally arrived in Japan, he said, taking a photo of the Gremory group where his daughter was, now to KOUH. Jhon Wick, Xenovia's father, what will happen when he finds her? Alibaba Yaga appears. You could see how the DXD group was being attacked by a large group of Chaos Brigade members. Issei, they have us surrounded, President, he said while his uniform was torn and one of his arms was bleeding. Rias, I don't know guys, but I do know one thing: if we're going to die, we'll die fighting without giving quarter, she said while a magic circle appeared in her hand. Xenovia Bucho is right, we will fight to the death, she said while her gaze empties, more concentrated and sharper. Kiba, I swore that my sword would be at your service, Bucho, and it will be until my last day. Kaneko, at least I know we died killing several bad guys. Akino, they will test the power of my lightning, she said while generating lightning from her hands. Heisei, the DXD group began to fight against the members of the Chaos Brigade when a car was heard coming to see a guy get out of the car, take a gun out of his suit, and shoot touched a charger against members of the Chaos Brigade. After killing some with their guns, took the sacred gear of one, which was a sword, and with that killed several. Until then killed the carrier, took out 2 Magnum 44 and shot at the Chaos Brigade without compassion until killing most and arriving with the boys to take out 2 other guns and kill the remaining members, only to see Opis, the dragon goddess of infinity, had fear in her gaze when she saw the subject, to which she could only say, Office. Alibaba Yaga, she said as a puddle of water began to appear beneath her. Jhon, hello Office, long time no see, he said so that the aforementioned would leave with Chow Chow in a magic circle. Rias, who are you? Jhon, my name is Jhon T/N Wick and I'm looking for my daughter, he said taking out a photo of Xenovia when she was a baby. I finally found you, daughter, he said opening his arms to receive a hug, but instead he was electrocuted with a lightning bolt and then thrown against a tree by the albino Nikomata. Xenovia, Dad! She screamed as she ran to see her father, who was sitting against a tree. Dad, don't die. I just found you. You just found me. I don't want to lose you, no, she said with tears in her eyes. Jhon, I won't die so easily, little one. You look just like your mother, he said taking out a photo of Xenovia's mother. Just imagine her with Xenovia's hair. Xenovia, that was my mom, she said staring at the photo. Jhon, if you're like her, come on, let's go home, he said, giving his daughter his hand, which she took, and they went to the car, which they got into and left. At Wick Mansion. Xenovia, hey Dad, how long have you been looking for me? Jhon, since you were 3 days old. When you were still 3 days old you were separated from me. For many years I looked for you and now I found you, but your younger sister is missing. Xenovia, I have a younger sister. Jhon, yes, she also has a coin and I'm also looking for her, but I found you now. Can you rest easy? Xenovia, Dad, what about my friends attacking you? Jhon, I won't do anything to them just because they are your friends, but you have to introduce me to them after my back is better, he said trying to get up from his seat. Well, your room has your name written on the door. After a few days, Xenovia HMP. Issei, you're still mad because we attacked him. Xenovia, yes. Rias, I abandoned you and appeared just like that. Save you, and then she opens her arms wanting a hug. Xenovia, I was kidnapped when I was 3 days old and since then they have been looking for me, but there have never been any clues about my whereabouts. Asia, I also had something like that. Mom said that Dad is looking for his firstborn daughter and then he would come home. Mom is sick. Dad has money for all expenses, but the tithe we gave at church was a lot and they took almost everything from us. The only thing I was left with was this, she said taking out a gold coin like Xenovia's. Xenovia, hey, it looks like my coin, she said, taking out her coin. Could it be that you and I are? She said so that she and he looked at each other and said, Xenovia/Asia. We are half-sisters, they said as they hugged each other. Issei, hey, Asia and Xenovia's father are the same. It can't be my harem. It's in danger if her father doesn't approve of me. Xenovia, Dad will probably accept you, you'll see, at Wick Mansion. Jhon, no. I authorize you to go out with him. Neither you nor your sister will come to live at the house and will continue to his house. I know because of club things. Xenovia, yes, father. Issei, but I love them, sir, I swear. Jhon, kid, I may be old, but I'll tell you this. The devil knows more because he's old than he's the devil. Now if you want my permission you'll have to earn it, he said, making everyone smile. If you can go a month without being perverted I'll give my 2 daughters permission to go out with you, but if you do something inappropriate they have a rule of not lying to me, so thanks for coming. Asia, Dad, can the girls stay over? She said with puppy dog eyes. Jhon, it's okay that they stay, but the boy is leaving. Issei, and why am I leaving? Jhon, if you're gay, go ahead, stay calm. They'll just talk about boys, paint their nails, and watch hexy vampire movies and other romance movies. Issei, there was no better game. My games, see you, he said, leaving the mansion. Jhon, okay, pick a room and there you go, get your pajamas. I have a date with a young lady I met at work. Xenovia, who is the lucky dad? Asia, yes, Dad, tell us. All, yes, tell us, Mr. Wick. Jhon, I'm sorry, it's an old friend from work, he said, opening the door, revealing a yes. In this story you were part of Rainbow, and imagine her in civilian clothes. Ella, hey Jhon, long time no see, she said, waving hand, to which the aforementioned accepted the greeting. Well, let's go. Jhon, behave and leave money on the table in case you want to order pizza, and seriously be good. All the girls, yes, Mr. Wick, they said while they had their fingers crossed behind them. We will behave, they said, so that he would close the door and the 2 adults would leave. In a cafe. Jhon, it's not normal that you want to have coffee with me. What's happening? Ella, 6 has a very big problem and only you can solve it, she said, showing a very large continental coin. She needs you back, Baba Yaga, and by the way, she wanted to tell you something, but it will be when we are at the base. Jhon, I'm all ears. Rainbow. Jhon Wick could be seen with his 2 daughters at the Hujo house, with an armored truck behind him. Jhon, be good, don't do anything bad. I'll be gone for a few days. But don't worry, I'll be back, I swear. Xenovia, it's okay, Dad. We'll wait for you and I'll protect Asia no matter what it costs, she said while taking her younger sister by the shoulders. Asia, when you come back, you'll tell us about Mom. Jhon, which of the 2? Xenovia, from my dad. Jhon, yes, I will. Just take care of yourselves and don't get close to Issei while I'm gone, he said, looking at the brown-haired boy with murderous eyes. See you girls, he said, kissing his daughters' foreheads. Goodbye. In the car, several Rainbow operators could be seen. I am Sled, Mr. Tachenka for you. Mute. You don't look that great, Jhon Wick. Ella, don't mess with him if you don't want to get hurt, guys. It's not for nothing that he's called Baba Yaga, she said, to make a screen appear on the ceiling to reveal. 6. Hi Jhon, long time no see. Jhon, 6, you still look very young. 6, your age doesn't suit you. Jhon, I'm still lethal. Yeah, you're just an old man. I don't know why 6 was looking for you so hard. Zofia, have respect for the Caviera, she shouted while pointing at the girl with her face painted. All his stories are real, all of them. 6, and others who never left Rainbow and almost killed the white mask boss. Caviera, it's just a locker room, it couldn't beat IQ. Jhon, wait, you're talking about Monica, he said, surprising most of the operators. 6. Don't be impressed by the IQ training in hand-to-hand combat and shooting, you also forgot to train the Bozak sisters. Slay, wait for the training, he said, pointing to the sisters. Ella, yes, he is our teacher and we are the same age. Well, I am a year younger and Zofia is the same age. Caviera, if he was previously an operator, where is his retired photo? 6. Well, there was never a photo. All information about Baba Yaga and the succubus was deleted from the history. Slay, succubus. 6. Xenovia Quart aka succubus, former Rainbow operator and wife of Jhon Wick. Caviera, and what happened to her? 6. She died after giving birth to her daughter. On the 2nd day she went on a mission, her body was brought back, and she was already dead. We couldn't do anything. Ella, We've arrived at the airport, she said when a group of white masks were seen inside the airport holding hostages. Jhon, I'll take care of it, he said, getting out of the truck and approaching one of the white masks. MB, on your knees, imbecile, he said to Jhon, who would come up to him and stick a pencil in his eye, killing him. Jhon, thanks for the gun, he said, taking the terrorist's gun, which was a scar. Time to work. Jhon could be seen entering the airport shooting at several white masked men. After he ran out of scar ammo, he grabbed a scorpion that was on the ground and continued shooting. When he ran out of ammo, he took out 2 Glock 17s, shooting until the last white masked man was left. MB, you're damn, he said, shooting when he saw John Wick going from one side to the other without hitting him a single shot. You're a bucking monster, you're not human, he said, wanting to run away only to crash into Jhon and fall to the floor on his ass. What are you? Jhon, I am Alibaba Yga, he said, firing the last 3 bullets at the terrorist. Ella, well, there you go, guys, no civilians injured, hostiles eliminated, etc. Caviera, how did he do all that? Sled, I see him and I don't believe it if it's true he is the bucking Baba Yga. Sophia, hasn't lost the master touch. Jhon, we're leaving. In Hereford. 6. Wick, he said, full of hugs to his friend, which was reciprocated. Long time no see, boss. Sled, wait, boss, what's that, boss? 6. Jhon used to be my squad leader when I was younger. Jhon, the past, and what you need. In the meeting room. 6. Listen to this very carefully, Jhon. I think your wife is alive. Jhon, I'm listening, he said, sitting closer to hear better. 6. I wasn't convinced that she would die so easily, and I did some blood tests. It turned out that the body they brought was negative. Jhon, and what does it mean? 6. Jhon, your wife was B positive, meaning that body wasn't hers. Jhon, do you think she's alive? 6. Yes, and I think your supernatural friends have it. Jhon, I think I know where it is. 6. What are you talking about, Jhon? Jhon, there's a group of supernatural terrorists, and I saw a woman in a hood next to a guy named Chow Chow, and I think it could be her. In the dimensional scream. Chow Chow, why do you see that hearing you could have seen John Wick killed will now be a nuisance to our plans? I don't think you want Baba Yaga on top of you, and if you don't do something to upset him, he won't do anything to you, he said, so that later Chow Chow will slap him, revealing who the hooded woman was. Imagine her with a hood and hair like Xenovia's. Chow Chow, if he saved you Opis, it was because he believed that you would be useful to us. But so far this is your only mistake. But if you do another one, next time I will do things that I would like but you won't like, I assure you. Shara, one day he will come and you will be the next in a long list of deaths and no one will listen to me. No one will do anything for me. John Wick is coming for you. Chow Chow, I'll wait for him here, he said, leaving the tent. Shara, John, come for me, she said, taking out a photo of when her daughter was born, in the Haido house. Issei, I lost again, he said, taking off his shirt. I only have my socks, my pants and my boxers left. Xenovia, you're really bad at the one, you know, she said while they deal cards again. Besides, don't complain, Kiba is the same. Kiba, no, I still have my shirt. Issei, I'm going to kill you, blonde. Asia, hey, it's weird that we're not making contracts, and we're playing a board game. Rias, if you're right, well, how about we go see my brother? Xenovia, well, I'll be with you, so okay. Asia, but Dad said that. Xenovia, I'm the oldest and I'm in charge of Asia. Asia, okay, I'm just afraid something bad will happen. In Hereford. Jhon, okay, anything else you want? 6. Yes, just one thing, he said, taking out a large coin and putting it on the table. Jhon, okay, what's the favor? 6. I want you to kill someone. Jhon, to whom? 6. Remember our teammate? Jhon, you won't talk about. 6. Yes, I'm talking about the boogeyman. Jhon, what does this have to do with all this? 6. He was the one who sold your wife to the new enemy. Before killing him, get information, okay? Jhon, you have a deal, he said, taking the coin and leaving the base, heading to Las Vegas. Vegas, boss. Section pound yen section, if you speak at once. It's John Wick coming here, Mr. Boogeyman, he said, making the subject come out of the shadow. He had thousands of marks and had a mask that was a sack. Boogeyman. So old Wick is coming. Well, I earned it. Tell everyone to get ready, Baba Yaga is coming. Yes, sir, don't worry, I'll kill him before he gets to you, he said, running away from the place. Boogeyman. That's what I get for betraying Jhon, he said, looking towards the airport. I'll wait for you here, brother. Las Vegas. 6 and Jhon could be seen talking about the Las Vegas operation. 6. Before you go, How about a simulation of you against several agents? Jhon, well, I'm one of those people who never says no to a challenge. 6. The Augwentes ELA, Zofia, IQ, Kaviera, Frost, ASH, Dakibi, Tachenka, Trinio and Hibana are requested to come to the simulation room. They will be the defenders, Jhon, while 1 versus 10 hot child's play. 6. I remember our first simulation, you were the best by far, he said as he got up from his seat. Come on, I want to see the carnage you'll do. In simulation room, setting nightclub, time of day, night. Rainbow operators could be seen keeping an eye on every site in the club. Kaviera, well, we never get the chance to kick the ass of a Generation Zero. Zofia, don't be too confident, he's not someone you should play with. Tachenka, main lobby, there is nothing, my turret, and I can't see the target. Wait, I think I saw something move. Shit. Turret shots started to be fired all over the club. I think I got it, she said, getting closer to where she shot. I think I got it. Shit, no. Static started to be heard. 1 versus 9 announcer. Kaviera, I'm going after that bastard, she said, running through a door. Zofia, shit. Everyone gather where the VIP is. I repeat, everyone gather where the VIP is. With Kaviera. Kaviera, where are you? He said with his gun in hand to turn around and see a vest. There are these, he said, pointing the gun so someone would hit his hand, and throws the gun to the floor. What the buck? Jhon, hello, he said to prevent Kaviera from taking out his knife. Kaviera, damn son of a bitch, she said, trying to free her hand from the grip only for it to start being strangled by Jhon. Jhon, see you, he said, taking out a knife and killing Kaviera with the rest of Augwentes. Zofia, shit, where's Kaviera? Ella, I don't know. Announcer, 1 versus 8. Ash, what the hell? He killed Kaviera. Ella, keep calm, Dakibi, hack it cake. Doc, I tried that but something hacked me, he said, showing his tablet where interference could be seen and only the words Alibaba YGA could be seen. Hibana, how the hell did I hack Dakibi? Frost, I don't know, but I would say hold the entrance. If I call 2, the only thing missing is us, the IQ that you have. IQ, he's playing with us. He knows we wouldn't leave the VIP alone to do what he thinks we won't do. Zofia, IQ, don't trust that. It's John Wick, a member of the unknown Generation Zero. He was here when Thatcher was a rookie. Ella, you better trust her. Jhon is right. He's someone who calculates the possibilities of everything. IQ, I don't know, but I'll go for it. Let's go, she said, being followed by 5 of the remaining 8. Announcer, 1 versus 7, 1 versus 6, 1 versus 5, 1 versus 3, 1 versus 2. Zofia, shit, she said to turn to see the VIP. Tell us 6. That's why you wanted the greatest assassin in the world to come back. You were part of the same squad that is doing this. 6. Vera, Jhon is an assassin, yes, but he was trained in all types of hand-to-hand combat. He is someone you should never mess with, since he is the one you send if you want to kill the bogeyman. Ella, Zofia, we better be alert. But before the Bozak sisters could react, a bomb exploded at the main door, from which John Wick emerged from the smoke wielding 257s, or as he calls them, the Punishers, firing their weapons at the sisters, a magazine for each one, only for Don 6 to arrive and point it at his head. Jhon, just as good as in the days of Generation Zero. 6. Even better than before. It would have taken you another 5 seconds to finish all my guests. Jhon, well, it's me. In the meeting room. 6. As you know, Jhon and I were part of the Zero generation of Rainbow. There is no record of that generation since the old 6 erased everything. Jhon, you all thought that having someone from Generation Zero was going to lose, but I won. Blackbird, I told you. Megan, now pay me. Valkyrie, it's okay, she said, passing him several $1,000 bills. 6. Okay, you all will be John's backup. Ella, wait, said everyone. 6. Yes, everyone will be his backup now that the Las Vegas operation begins. In Las Vegas, Nevada. Jhon, wow, I never thought he would point to his casino, he said, seeing a casino with the name Boogeyman. In the casino, several armed security guards could be seen checking that there was no one in the casino except John Wick. Boogeyman, hey bro, shouting from his office window. Jhon, you, he said, prepared to start killing people. What's the plan? Boogeyman, you see, brother, I'm supporting White Mask and other terrorist organizations. The money from this casino is what finances those organizations. Jhon, thanks for saying it, he said, taking out his weapons and started killing the security guards. You could see a hail of lead flying all over the casino as Jhon advanced, only for him to reach his brother's office a few minutes later. killing the last 2 guards by throwing knives at their throats and entering the office. Boogeyman, hello brother, he said, sitting at his desk drinking a drink, while secretly trying to take a D.50. What brings you to the city, brother? T/N. You know what I came for, he said while reloading his gun and pointing it at his brother. Don't take that D.50 out of your desk, he said, making his brother take his hand out of the drawer where the gun was. Because, Boogeyman, you want to know why? Okay, that damn woman changed you, Jonathan. She made you weak and blimping. Look at yourself now. Without her you are the same Alibaba YGAS before the cold, merciless killer, all thanks to me. Jhon, you took away from me the woman I loved and will always love. Boogeyman, just listen to yourself, for God's sake, you're a killer. Once a killer, always a killer, you told me so. Jhon, but we can also change, he said, shooting 2 bullets to the chest and another to the head. Goodbye, little brother, he said, leaving the office to go home. Time to go back to my daughters. In the underworld, you could see all the girls in Issei's harem in their beds when suddenly they all woke up and felt a chill run down their spine. Issei, they felt that. Rias, yes, it must have been. Xenovia, I don't think it's that Dad is coming home or not. Asia, if it's so little, it's as if she called us and told us she was already on a flight to Japan. She said so that Xenovia's phone would suddenly ring. Xenovia, hi Odie-san, yes, we are at home if you don't worry, yes, bye, she said, hanging up the phone. Dad is coming here, we must return to Japan now. She shouted, worried because what her sister said came true. So the whole DXD group dressed up as a soul that carries the devil and teleported in a magic circle to the Hydro house so that when they arrived they would see. In the Hydro house, Jhon, hey guys, you're here way early, aren't you? He said with a small vein highlighted on his forehead. I am. Don't worry, they went to the underworld. They always go, although they always come back a day later because they arrived early this time, guys. Jhon, okay Mr. Hydro, I'm leaving, he said, still with the vein in his head. Let's go, girls, we'll talk at home. Xenovia, Asia, it was a pleasure meeting you and being your sister, she said, whispering into her younger sister's ear with tears in her eyes. Asia, me too, Wunchan, she said, the same with tears in her eyes. At Wick Mansion, Jhon, they leave without my permission to the underworld, and they leave me with the question of whether they followed me or that something happened to them. I have already lost both of your mothers. I don't want to lose you, he said with a noticeable state of anger. Xenovia, I'm so sorry, father, but we had to attend to some demon matters. Forgive us, it won't happen again, said Kavasbaja. Asia, yes, father, she said, the same as her sister, looking at the floor. Jhon, go to your room, you are grounded, you can't see Issei for 2 months only for school, and the DXD group understood, he said to what his daughters nodded, looking at the floor. And without phone, and I will change the Wi-Fi password, he said to what his daughters opened their eyes and gave him the phones and went to their rooms. Jhon, what will I do with them? He said, looking towards his door where there was a letter. Let's go and see. He said, looking at the letter and its contents. To Jhon T/N Wick. Jhon, I'm alive. I'm in a dimensional gap zone. The Chaos Brigade has me captive. Please come save me. I need you. With love, Xenovia Quart, your beloved wife. United family. Jhon T/N Wick could be seen sitting on his couch while waiting for someone. Jhon, what time are those girls planning to call me? He said, looking at the watch on his wrist. Time to sleep. He said, getting up from his seat and going to the phone and making it ring. Well, who's speaking? He said, answering the phone. Xenovia, Dad, she said through the call with a worried tone. They took Asia away. Jhon, where to? He said with an angry tone. Xenovia, to an area of the gap, she said with great concern. Jhon, if I die, I love you, daughter, he said, hanging up the phone and filling in a space. The Continental. You could see how Jhon Wick entered the hotel and was greeted by a subject. This was the one who received them at the hotel. Sharon, Mr. Wick, he said with surprise, seeing his friend. Nice to see you here. Jhon, yes too, he said, looking everywhere. Sharon, nothing has changed, Mr. Wick. Jhon, same owner. Sharon, same owner, nodding, back to work. Jhon, no, he said calmly, it's something personal, I'll go shopping. Sharon, good hunting, Mr. Wick, he said, so Jhon put a gold coin in the receiver and walked to a door. Jhon, thank you, he said, leaving the hotel. Ignore the map thing and have the woman at the reception change it to Sharon. In the hotel room. Jhon, this is personal, he said, taking his things and going to the garage. Jhon could be seen entering the hotel garage where a group of people were waiting for him. Jhon, Aurelio, you brought him, he said to the guy in front of everyone. This is Aurelio. Aurelio. Of course you're not going to walk, or if Jhon, he said, walking up to the mentioned and hugging him. Uncover it so I can see it, he said, taking Jhon to a car covered by a sheet. Jhon is as good as new. This is the car. Jhon, perfect, he said, giving some coins to Aurelio. I have work, he said, getting into the car. Aurelio. Jhon, why did you ask me to place that portal stone that connects to the dimensional gap? He said from the car sail. Jhon, my daughter was kidnapped. Aurelio, well, go ahead and say hello to the mini-Wicks, my friend, he said, so Jhon could start the car and leave the place. In the dimensional gap, several members of the DXD group could be seen fighting against several magicians until the sound of an engine was heard and Jhon's car could be seen running over several magicians. And while he was running them over, he shot, killing more magicians. Xenovia, Dad, you came, she said with several drops of sweat and a rather shy smile and a look of fear. Jhon, then he talked to you, he said, pointing to his daughter. Now if you excuse me, I have to save my daughter, he said, walking with one of the guns in hand, killing wizards and demons. In the temple, a young green-haired demon could be seen looking down at Asia, who was tied up by several chains sticking out of the floor. Jhon, you better let go of my daughter, you son of a bitch, he said, looking at the young man. Everyone knows this son of a bitch. Diodora, oh, you are the father of my future wife, he said, smiling at Jhon. Jhon, I'd rather she marry that damn pervert than you, he said, pointing his gun at the boy who received a whole cartridge of bullets in his chest. I hope you die, son of a bitch. Diodora, I will not die so easily, he said, getting up without seeing that Jhon approached him with a Benelli shotgun. You are a wretch. Jhon, I'm not a jealous father who doesn't let anyone he doesn't approve of get close to his little angel. Nobody heard me, nobody, he said while putting a foot on Diodora and crushed his ribs and shot twice in the knee, separating them, and only Diodora's screams could be heard. You know you're a demon of those that I don't like. You kidnapped my daughter, he said, shooting her several times in the chest. You dared to touch her on some occasions, and as if that were not enough, without my consent. That's why I hate spoiled children, he said, pointing the gun at Diodora's head. Now I hope you burn in hell, you damn spawn of shit, he said, shooting her several times in the head until there was nothing left. Xenovia, Dada, what did you do? She said, looking at Diodora's body. Jhon, nobody touches my little angels, he said, throwing the shotgun and going to where his daughter was, where when he was going to take her in his arms she disappeared. No, my daughter, he said while falling on his knees, and her hair covered her eyes and tears were seen running down her cheeks. Shlaba. Shlaba, Beelzebub called me. Now that girl must be dead, floating inside the dimensional gap. Screaming, looking at everyone with a superior face. All of you are vermin before me. Drake, I heard, he said, getting Shlaba's attention. You said your name is Shlaba. That girl you killed is John Wick's daughter. Now you're lost, said Issei's dragon. Issei, Asia, where are you? Asia, come on, we have to go back home, he said, looking everywhere with a lost look. Asia. Two presences of great power could be felt in that room where Jhon was kneeling. A figure could be seen being formed by his aura. It was the same Grim Reaper with that overwhelming presence. Issei fell unconscious and Shlaba was frightened, looking in horror at the man who was on his knees. The Grim Reaper was getting bigger and bigger. Jhon, it's time for you to die, he said, pointing the gun at Shlaba, which in the mouth of the gun formed a small sphere of black energy with purple flashes. Die, he said, pulling the trigger of the gun, and when the bullet came out, a ray of black energy and purple details came out that left Shlaba without an arm and destroyed the wall behind Shlaba. Shlaba, who the hell are you, human? He said so that Jhon would stand up and look him in the eyes, putting on a face of absolute fear. Why, you are the damn human who killed the boogeyman, and you killed him. Jhon, silence, he said, making Shlaba run out of the room. You killed one of my angels, now I kill you, damn, he said, walking to where Shlaba was, and the sphere reappeared in the mouth of the gun. You don't deserve to be in this cursed world, he said, shooting at the lower part of Shlaba. The scream that was screamed in pain could be heard as far as where the DXD group was. Silence, insect, he said, shooting two rays at Shlaba's body and head, erasing the FA from the world. Jhon could be seen falling back to his knees and heard crying, and he gave a heart-rending scream full of suffering and pain. With the DXD group, Rias, Mr. Wick, said, looking at Jhon with tears in her eyes. Xenovia, Dad, I let you down, she said, kneeling while crying. I didn't protect my sister. I'm a very bad daughter and sister. While the DXD group was crying, you could see a portal and someone coming out of it, and carrying someone in their hands. Arthur, Hello, I think you lost something, said the descendant of Arthur Pendragon or King Arthur while carrying Asia in his arms. Xenovia, Asia, she screamed, running to her sister and snatching her from Arthur's hands. Thank you for saving her, she said while crying in her sister's chest. Rias, are you alive, Asia? She said, looking at the blonde girl who was in her older sister's arms. Asia, guys, why are you crying? She said, opening her eyes, and the whole DXD group hugged her. Guys, what's happening? Why are you all hugging me? She said, then to see her father kneeling and get out of everyone's hug and flew to where her sister is, with Jhon. Jhon, forgive me, my angel, forgive me. I didn't protect you before and now neither, he said, bringing his gun dangerously close to his head. At least I'll be with you in a second, my little angel, he said, and then the gun was snatched from his hand and he could see Asia looking at her father with tears, only for Jhon to get up and hug Asia. Asia, why would you commit suicide, Oda-san? She said with tears in her eyes, looking at her father. Jhon, now it doesn't matter, you're alive, my little golden angel. Don't leave again, please don't, he said, hugging his daughter with great strength. Please don't go, little one, just come with me, my daughter. Asia, we will always be here for you, Dad, Xenovia and I will always be here, she said, reciprocating her father's hug. Shara, wow, did you see another girl, Jhon? Jhon's wife said, coming out of the smoke and revealing that she was wearing a military combat suit with a bulletproof vest with destroyed parts. Jhon, I knew you would be here, he said, letting go of his daughter and walking to his wife, who hugged him, and he hugged her back. I missed you, Shara. Shara, oh, me too, my dear, she said as she approached his ear. You owe me many things, starting with Tora, daughter, my beloved murderer, she said, whispering in her husband's ear. Jhon, that can be fixed, he said, taking his wife's hand and walking to where Asia was. Daughter, she is your second mother. Shara, oh my god, she's beautiful, she said, hugging the girl. Hey, where's my little Xenovia? Xenovia, nah, Mom, she said, arriving at the place with teary eyes with her friends. I miss you so much, Mom, she said, running into her mother's arms while crying. Shara, yes, Mom is here, my little one, she said, calming her daughter. Issei, wait a minute, like Xenovia's mom is younger, and her dad looks older. Shara, oh, I can answer that for you, she said, drawing the attention of the entire DXD group. Actually, I'm a succubus, she said with an adorable smile. The whole DXD group, EEH. They all shouted in surprise. Shara, hey, I said something wrong, Jhon, she said, looking at her husband. Jhon, not only do I think they were surprised, he said, looking at the girls and Issei with a stupid face, I think the brown-haired idiot is thinking about something stupid with my blue angel. Issei, Ejijajij Xenovia is part succubus, that means he said in his head while remembering all the hentai anime he has seen where succubi appear. Jhon, I'm going to kill him, he said, being miraculously grabbed by his wife while Jhon held a knife in his hand and was going to use it to kill Issei. Shara, it's good that the whole family is together, she said, frowning to keep Issei safe from her husband. Blood-packed. Jhon and Wick could be seen being at home waiting for his wife and two daughters who had gone out shopping when the doorbell rang and Jhon went to see who it was, and it was Santino D'Antonio. Santino. Hello, Jhon. Jhon, Santino, what are you doing here? Santino, you see, Jhon, today that you returned to work, he said, taking out the coin that Six had. You owe me, Jhon. Jhon. No, Santino, I'm retired, please don't do it. Time skip. You could see the Wick mansion destroyed and burning in flames, and Jhon writing a note on the door of the house for his family. Police, hello, Jhon. Jhon, hello. Police, an accident in the kitchen. Jhon, if an accident in the kitchen. On the Continental, you could see Jhon entering the Continental and Sharon receiving it. Sharon, Mr. Wick, it's a pleasure to see you. Jhon, the manager is here. Sharon, not today, I wouldn't be here, he said, gesturing towards the elevator. On the rooftop of the Continental, a very old subject could be seen. Winston, Jhon, what are you doing here? Jhon, Santino came to my house and destroyed it, and showed me the token. Winston, then do what he asks and you're free, Jhon. After some time in the museum, Jhon, I came, Santino, what do you want me to do? He said with a cold tone. Santino, okay, I'll tell you. I want you to kill my sister before she's in the order so I can take her place. Jhon, you're making me kill my friend. Santino, I know, but if you do it, nothing will tie you to this life, Jhon. Now do it, and you'll have your life with your family, with the Wick family. Shara, okay girls, she said, looking at her two daughters who had teary eyes because what happened to their house, We will go to my house and there we will stay until Dad returns. Xenovia, Mom, why does this happen? Asia, why does Dad think he'll kill the guy who destroyed the house? Shara, look, right now no one knows us and that's good. They still have their mother's last name, she said looking at her daughters. And it's better that way. Everyone will look for their father. You will go to the underworld and I will hire Hereford. I have to talk to Six. In here, fraud. Six, what's going on? He said looking at his cell phone and seeing a message from the order. Death order Jhon T/and Wick $7 million. What did you do, Jhon? On the Continental, you could see Jhon, Winston and Santino, but Jhon was carrying a gun. Winston, Jonathan, please leave, he said in a worried tone, please go. Santino, you can stay in this place for life and never be the same twice, he said while eating. Winston, Jonathan, please, I ask you to please leave, he said in a pleading tone. Santino, if Jonathan withdraws, being interrupted because Jhon shot him in the forehead and left the gun on the table and left. Winston, Jhon, what have you done? He said looking at Jhon for the last time. Now the order is after you and worse to A, he said taking out his phone. Contracts 111111 yes excommunicated. Jhon Wick in an hour thanks, he said putting away his cell phone. Sorry Jhon, those are the rules. After a while, you could see the corpses of several members of the order, and you could see how Jhon was standing in the middle of the corpses, and in his hands he had a 34 Galk, and in the other he had a pencil. Jhon, you said seeing the only member of the order alive but very badly wounded, tell them all, that I will kill them no matter who it is. I will kill them all, said leaving the place without a trace. On the Continental, Soldier.O. Sharon, please calm down and tell me what's going on. Soldier.O. Baba Yaga has a message for you, he said getting the attention of everyone who went to kill him. He told me to kill you all no matter who it is, he will kill you he said so that later he would fall dead on the hotel couch. Winston, take the body and everyone be careful. Jhon Wick is everywhere. In Hereford, Shara, while 6, you're older, she said, looking at her friend from her military days. 6, Shara, I'm glad you're okay. What's going on? Shara, it's Jhon, they're hunting him and he's hunting them. 6, we can't do anything, just wait for Jhon to survive. By the way, here, he said, handing Jhon's wife a book that had silver letters engraved on its cover, which said JW, it's a diary from when he was in Rainbow, it's yourself. With Jhon. Jhon could be seen walking through the streets of an Arab city while carrying an emblem. Assassin, Jhon Wick, what are you doing here? Jhon, I came to see the teacher, he said showing the emblem. This was the emblem. Assassin, Jhon Wick, said looking at a scroll, excommunicate, and you come to see those who are beyond the one who is beyond the order because, Jhon, you trained me and helped me in my training, I need your help. Assassin, if you want to see the master, you have to leave everything aside, including your family. Jhon, I will never forget my wife and even less my daughters. If I forget them, I will never forgive myself. They are my adoration. I will never leave them. You have passed the test, Jhon Wick. Welcome back to the Assassin Order, said a guy with a white and red tunic, of course, just until you have no problems. Jhon, it's a pleasure to see you, Master, he said, kneeling down as best he could. Master Altair, now tell me what's going on. Jhon, I seek revenge against the Supreme Order. Altair, then this is your place, my brother-in-arms, with Jhon's wife, Shara. Okay, she said taking her things from her time as Rainbow's operator. And what is the plan second in command? 6. The plan is to enter where the Supreme Order is and kill all the members we can, he said while putting on several bulletproof vests. Don't forget armor-piercing bullets, those Coles have good armor. Shara, I know Jhon is going to kill them, but mobilizing all of Rainbow just to attack them isn't a bit dramatic. 6. With those sons of bitches from the Order, it's better that we all go, she said as they both went towards several armored trucks where all the operators were waiting for them. Ella, all loaded and ready, ma'am. Shara, this is the end of the Supreme Order, this is a Shara/Jhon, a blood pact. The end of everything. Jhon T/and Wick could be seen with several members of the Assassin Order giving him weapons. Assassin, here you go, Jhon, he said, showing several weapons. Jhon, thank you, he said, taking the 2 pistols and putting them in their holsters. It's time for the Supreme Order to fall, he said, taking the rifle and loading it ready. While with Rainbow, Shara, well, 6, ready to kill those bastards, she said, carrying an assault rifle. 6, of course I'm ready, silly, she said, loading a submachine gun. The team is back. In Europe, England, Jhon, It's time to end this, he said, walking through the streets of England until he saw where the Supreme Order was. It's time for the end. Time skip. Several bodies could be seen at the entrance of the Supreme Order by the time the rainbow vans arrived. 6. Okay. All operators make a perimeter. Shara and I will go after Jhon, she said, and then ran inside the order base, being followed by Shara, with T/N. Jhon, what the hell happened here? He said, seeing the corpses of the members of the order. That could have been us, Baba Yaga, he said, to come out of the shadows and reveal himself to be nothing more than Rezivam, Lucifer, and Chow Chow, accompanied by the Opis. Chow Chow. Hello, Baba. We hope you like your surprise because it is beautiful to me, he said while taking out a detonator. Rezivam. The bomb will kill us all in this room. But if you die with that, then I'm more than happy to die knowing you'll die. Jhon, well, that's no problem for me, he said, taking out one of the pistols that were in his suit. Chow Chow, okay. Wick, see you later. With 6 and Shara. 6. Wait, Sarah downstairs, she said, throwing herself on top of her friends so that the whole room they were planning to enter would explode. Outside the order base, some operators heard a shot, and then they could hear this. This is the best I found of an explosion. In the original hell, a woman with white wings could be seen sitting on a lathe, and next to her was a dark-haired woman, and Jhon was kneeling in front of her. This is how the girl sitting on the throne looks, and she was at his side but without the horns or wings. Wow, look at the famous Baba Yaga visiting maze, he said, seeing the brunette girl at his side. To what do we owe the honor, Mr. Wick? Jhon, let's just say Ray finally claimed my soul from hell, Lucy said. See you later. To the girl on the throne. Maze, I want to torture him now. Lucy, oh come on please Maze, this guy will never give you a cry of suffering, but I think I'll do you one last favor, Baba. Now tell me what you want most, she said, to look Jhon in the eyes fixedly. Jhon, I want to go home to be with my family, he said without any concern. Lucy, but Jhon, you're not dead yet, you're just on the verge of death. Apparently someone protected you from the explosion, she said, while looking at Jhon with a smile. Jhon, no, and then what am I doing here, Lucia? He said, seeing the woman on the throne approaching him. Lucy, what I want is that when you die you are the king of hell, she said while caressing Jhon's face. Jhon, I'm sorry but I'm loyal to only one woman and that's my wife, he said while looking at Lucy. Lucy, don't worry Wick, soon something will make you die, and it will be inevitable, she said while the whole hellish environment became blurry. In the real world, Jhon could be seen sitting on a destroyed column and had very few injuries, but he was hurt. Jhon, it's time to go home, he said while taking his gun that was at his side. He got up and started walking but was thrown to his knees with a shot in his shoulder. Buck, what the buck? Rezivam. Ha, I really thought your damn human would die. You're just scum. Everyone thinks you're dangerous, capable of killing anyone, but to me you're just a damn human. You're scum, he said with a gun in his hand. Jhon, I'm not that easy to kill, damn gay and pedophile bat, he said as he took his gun. In a quick movement he rolled to the left, ended up lying on the ground. With a face full of anger and fury he shot Rezivam until he finished the gun's magazine. Rezivam fell to the ground dead while Jhon got up and walked back towards the only free exit of the place. While walking he heard how Rainbow's 6th agent entered the place. Jhon, I think I'll go home, he said as he put his gun in its holster located on his belt and continued walking out of the place. In Japan, after a month Jhon's family were in their rebuilt mansion holding a small wake where only close friends and family were in the mansion. Shara, Jhon, I hope you're in heaven with several of your best friends, she said while having both hands on her daughter's shoulders. Asia, Dad, I always wanted to meet you, and after you found us, you left. I don't know what we'll do without you. Dad, I'll miss you, she said while crying her eyes out. Xenovia. Dad, I know I wasn't the best daughter. I disobeyed you on several occasions. I was guilty of Asia almost dying. I always knew you were looking for me. I miss you, Dad. I don't know what I'll do without you, she said while hugging Asia, and she returned the hug while the two cried rivers. And will you be from the family? There were the DXD group and the leaders of the factions with black clothes, and everyone looked towards the Sio except Azael, who was sitting in an armchair. Jhon enters through the mansion door without making a noise and passes by Azazel without being noticed, and stands behind Issei. Here they are watching, he whispered just so Issei could hear him. Issei turns to look at Jhon and without realizing it says, to you, Mr. Wick, since you died, we made this little wake for you. Jhon, oh, and where is the food? I'm hungry, he said while Rias and the DXD group looked at him with a look of astonishment so that the leaders would see it the same way. Issei, in the kitchen, Mr. Wick. There's coffee and hot chocolate, he said, pointing to the door. Jhon, thank you, he said to go to the kitchen for food while everyone realized that Jhon was alive. Sears, that was it, he said while pointing at Jhon, and everyone nodded. Shara, guys, what's going on, she said with tears in her eyes while Asia and Xenovia kept crying. Sarah fall. Shara-chan, I think you should go to the kitchen, she said while pointing to the kitchen door from which Jhon came out with a cup of hot chocolate and a sweet bread and sat in his seat without being seen. Shara, oh that's right, I'll bring the food, girls, help me, she said, so she could do it, and Xenovia went with her. Jhon took the remote control and put on a soccer game. Could you guys move away? I can't watch my TV, he said, to which everyone moved away, and then Asta and Jhon's daughters came out with sweet bread, cakes and other food, coffee and hot chocolate. Shara, here you go guys, please eat. Jhon would never have wanted to see his guests not eating, as she said, watching the TV she turned on, and on the game, oh Jhon's favorite team is playing. Thanks guys, now I have the most to remember him by. Jhon continues eating his bread and drinking his chocolate while the DXD group sees him in amazement, and the faction leaders see him with a drop of sweat on their heads. Xenovia, Issei, console me, she said to hug Issei, who smiled like an idiot, and Jhon got up from his seat with his chocolate in hand, standing behind Issei. Jhon throws the hot chocolate on Issei. Oops, I spilled the hot chocolate. Sorry Issei. Issei, hot, he said as they ran through the house looking for some water to throw on themselves. Xenovia, Papa, leave my Issei alone. What's wrong with you? Can't you stop complaining about him, or doing something bad for a single day? She said, looking her father in the eyes while crying. Not even when I'm dead do you approve of my relationship, Jhon. But I'm here, my little blue angel, he said while putting his right hand on Xenovia's head and caressing her. I'm not that easy to kill, you know. Xenovia, hey dad, she shouted while hugging Jhon, who left the race in his seat and hugged his daughter. Jhon, yes, I'm alive, he said to see Asia, who saw him and also cried. Asia, dad, you're alive, she shouted and ran to hug her father, who bent down and hugged his daughters equally. Jhon, I told you that I will not die until I am sure that you two have a family, and I have seen my grandchildren run through it, he said while looking at his wife. I promised I will not come home, Shara. Shara, if you promised and you kept it, you idiot, she said, hugging her daughters and putting her head against her husband's. The next day, Jhon and Shara could be seen sitting on their couch while watching a series called The Mentalist. Shara, Jhon, promise me this is the end of everything. No more murders, no more Baba Yaga, she said as she leaned on her husband's chest and looked at him. Jhon, I promise, Shara, no more. It's over. No more Baba Yaga, just Jhon T/N Wick, he said, hugging the woman's waist and kissing her head. No more. Shara, I like the series, love, and hey, I'm going to watch it again on Father's Day. What if we make the girls feel embarrassed on that day? She said, looking at her husband with an evil look. Jhon, doesn't seem like a bad plan, love, he said as he started watching the series. Time skip. After several years you could see several photos in Jhon's mansion. In one you could see the whole family at a graduation. In another it was just Jhon at the father-daughter dance. In another the whole family at Halloween, until you reached one where you could see Asia and Xenovia in wedding dresses and big smiles, and behind them a Jhon with a slightly dull but happy look. A figure passed through the hallway where the photos were hanging, and you could see that it was going to a basement. In the basement, the figure could be seen hitting the ground with a hammer until it broke the ground, and a chest could be seen that when opened revealed a large arsenal of weapons and some golden coins. Then the figure stood up and the light illuminated him, showing an older Jhon with some gray hair, and his face was not one of happiness but of pure hatred. Jhon, here we go again, he said, taking the phone. End of the first season. If you want the second, put it in the comments saying Alibaba YGA is here. The Alibaba Yaga has returned is here. Chapter 1 Season 2. Before Jhon buried his guns 2 weeks, you could see Jhon with his beard and hair already with some gray. He was sitting on a park bench while from a distance he watched 3 girls running and laughing until those same girls approached Jhon. Rem and Ram, Xenovia's twin daughters, both 6 years old. Rem, Grandpa bothered me, and Ram, tell him he can't bother us, she said while pointing to a blonde-haired girl who was coming from behind them. That's right, Tanya is Asia's daughter, and she really wants to be the next Baba Yaga. Jhon, Tanya, don't bother your sisters, you know they are Grandma's favorites, he said, looking at his oldest granddaughter, who was 12 years old. Tanya, oh come on Grandpa, they always bother me at home, and they always punish me because of them, she said while pouting. Jhon, you are 12 years old and they are barely half your age. They are just children. Try to understand them. Do you want to? He said while looking at his watch. It's time to go, girls. Your mothers have already arrived for you. Time skip. In Jhon's mansion you could see his 2 daughters, already grown up but still looking young. Jhon's granddaughters ran to see their mothers while they received them with a hug and then saw their father with a smile. Xenovia, hi Dad, we haven't seen you in a long time, she said looking at her father who walked to his seat and sat down. Jhon, yes, like 2 years without seeing each other. But whose fault is it? He said with a little anger in his voice. Asia, Dad, I know you're angry. But let's not ask to stay on Earth since the Chaos Brigade returned, she said while grabbing her daughter's shoulders. Xenovia, Dad, we have a gift for you, please accept it. She said. A box with holes in it appeared due to a magic symbol, and she walked up to Jhon to hand it to him. Jhon, it's okay. I accept it just because I love you and I could never get mad at you. My agents, he said, taking the box. Just before opening it a small bark was heard, and when he opened it he revealed. This is Jhon's new puppy. Jhon, what's your name? He said, taking the puppy in his hands, and it licked his nose. Jhon could only shed tears. Asia, it's her and her name is Daisy. I hope you like it, Dad, she said looking at her father with a smile. Jhon, thank you girls, I appreciate it very much, he said with tears in his eyes. Time skip. You could see a calm Jhon sitting on a park bench. Next to him sat Daisy, who watched everyone walk by, until Jhon got up from the bench and the puppy followed Jhon to his car, which he opened the door. Daisy got into the car while Jhon got into the driver's seat and drove to his mansion. Jhon, as always something normal, no girl, said Veneto to Daisy, who barked in affirmation. Yes, you are right. Keep playing until the end of the chapter. So the days passed until one day someone broke into Jhon's house, took Daisy and destroyed her car and the one she had been given, and left a photo where the same thieves left Jhon's granddaughters crying, and the photo had written, "Grappa save us please ajajaja." That was what made Jhon explode with anger more than he already was, so he began to clean and enter Daisy's body. He took a construction hammer and went down to his basement, while passing by where the photos of his family were when they were still a happy family. When he reached his basement he screamed with anger while hitting the basement floor to then reveal a chest, and when he opened it he revealed. There were 2 of these. There were also 2 of these, but they were painted black. This little rifle, this little shotgun, and this little carbine, and even under the chest was the suit that condemned him once again. He would put it on to save the only family he had left, according to him, his 3 little granddaughters. When Jhon took the weapons, golden coins in a large backpack, he took the suit and the backpack and went up to his room to prepare to kill everyone. Time skip. Jhon could be seen with his suit back on. He took his backpack filled with weapons and gold coins and went out to the garage of his mansion and pressed a button, and a secret compartment opened, revealing, "Yep, what a beauty. Jhon. Nobody touches my granddaughter, kills my dog, destroys my car, and lives to tell the tale," he said with a voice full of ear. He got into his second favorite car and drove the car to Kyoto, where there was an old friend of his who was always on top of everything. There was nothing criminal that didn't happen without her knowing about it. In Kyoto, Japan, you could see a large Greek-looking mansion where Jhon parked his car and walked through the front yard of the house until he reached the door, and it opened by itself to reveal Persephone, the goddess of the underworld. Persephone, Jhon Wick, I know why you came. You want to know who has your daughters, right? She said while with a finger she called Jhon to come closer. He approached her. But are you willing to pay the price, Jonathan? Jhon, tell me what you want, Persephone, he said as he watched Persephone get up from her seat and wrap her arms around his neck. Persephone, I want you, Jhon, to be my husband once you get your granddaughters back. They will need a maternal figure. What do you think, Jhon? She said while looking at Jhon with lust. Jhon, I think it's a fair deal. I accept it now. Where my granddaughters are, he said, looking Persephone in the eyes. Persephone, very well, she said to kiss Jhon, who didn't even flinch from the kiss. The deal is sealed. They have them held here in Kyoto, members of a faction of heroes that is currently led by the same guy who killed Shara before your first granddaughter was born. Careful, Jhon. The trap is for the Red Emperor Dragon. The building was an old continental one, so they will be well armed, she said to walk sensually to her armchair and sit down again. Jhon, I don't care. They messed with my only family. This time there will be no mercy for anyone or anything, he said to leave Persephone's mansion, get in his car and drive to the old mainland in Kyoto. On the former mainland in Kyoto, you could see how Jhon's car parked outside the old continental. He got out of his car, opened the trunk, and took out all his pistols and put them in cases. He took out his carbine and hung it on his back. He took out his assault rifle and put it in his jacket. He took out his shotgun and reloaded it. He also took all the cartridges, all his weapons. He entered the Continental, shooting at the members of this so-called faction of heroes while more dead were coming on the floor until the shotgun bullets ran out. He took out his carbine, and the more young people with weapons or sacred gears attacked him. They died before even getting close to Jhon. All they did was make Jhon's anger increase as an aura of death and desolation began to emanate from him until it formed the shape of death itself and grew larger and larger until they stopped arriving, and applause began to be heard coming from one of the ledges to let someone see. At some point they will know who it is. Wow, Mr. Wick, your reputation precedes you. If I'm honest, he said as he approached the railing and leaned against it. Jhon, where are my granddaughters? He shouted angrily and pointed at the unknown boy. Calm down, Mr. Wick. Once my boss sees you, she will let you go free with your granddaughters, he said, until suddenly a light revealed a girl sitting in an expensive armchair, and behind her 2 boys. When she was a girl, just imagine her with black hair and blood-red eyes. Jhon points at the girl on the couch who, at the action of the greatest assassin in the world, only smiled and tilted her head. It's nice to finally meet you, father, but I see that you're very upset about what my half-siblings and I did, and before you ask, I was the one who killed Xenovia Quart and kidnapped your granddaughters, but it doesn't matter, I finally met you, my father, he said, and then a light would turn on and show Jhon's granddaughters unconscious, tied up and gagged on a bench near him. Here, take them. When Jhon's granddaughters appeared, Jhon in a sudden movement shot the boy in the shoulder up on one of the ledges. He shot the 2 boys behind the girl in the stomach before they could react, and shot the girl close to the face, causing a slight wound to the girl's left cheek. Jhon, touch my family again and believe me, this time I'll kill you. Damn it, he said, grabbing his granddaughters and his weapons and running away as fast as possible, putting the girls in the back seat and running like crazy from that place. You were right, Mom, he is capable of anything. Even killing his own flesh and blood for his family, he said, while the boy who was on the ledge jumped to the ground and landed intact. And then a blonde woman in a dress came out of the darkness, and all the corpses caught fire, and when only the bones remained, it could be seen that the teeth were from vampires. This is the woman who made the whole plan to see John Wick one more time. Come on, kids, it's time to go home to plan our next move, he, she said as she walked into the darkness and disappeared, being followed by the 2 who also disappeared into the darkness. With Jhon, you could see Jhon driving his car while looking in the rearview mirror at his granddaughters sleeping peacefully in the back seat of the car. Jhon, never again, now you will live with me. Your mothers went down the wrong path marrying that idiot, now I will take care of you little ones, now you are Wick no Hyde, he said to continue driving towards his house. A dangerous grandfather. It's been a while since Jhon started raising his granddaughters. Several times his daughters have tried to take them away. Jhon never leaves them, and the girls never want to go with their mother since their grandfather has cared for and raised them. Jhon has trained his granddaughters in the same combat methods as he has, and his oldest granddaughter has already taught him how to use firearms. But as soon as Jhon approaches his granddaughters, a young man threatens to kill them. Jhon, very well girls, you know what to do. Please take care of each other and don't get into trouble, and please don't let your sisters see you, he said while his granddaughters just sat down and got out of Jhon's car, who now had more gray hair in his beard and hair. At Jhon's house, you could see Jhon's mansion had more flowers than before. You could see more life in that house that before only housed one person. After a while, Jhon arrived home in a truck. After a moment, he got out of his car and walked to his house. When he entered, he was greeted by a woman sitting in his favorite chair. Persephone. Hello, Jhon, she said, looking at Jhon, who just left his keys in a bowl where there were several keys. Jhon, what are you doing on my couch, Persephone? He said, looking at the goddess of the underworld as she sat on his couch. Persephone. Jhon, I know you take care of them as if they were yours. That's why I came to tell you that there is someone from the Greek pantheon with your blood, she said, so that Jhon would be a little surprised and pay attention. Pandora. Why do you think she can bear the weight of the box? Why is she your daughter, Jhon? Jhon, this can't be true. Are you telling me that one of you traveled to the future just because of my blood? He said, trying to understand what he was hearing. Persephone. Yes, Jhon. But I also came to tell you that in the future you will have many problems with your son-in-law and daughter, she said to earn an angry look from Jhon. Jhon, they stopped being my daughters when they married that damn bastard, he said while looking at Persephone angry. If this is what you had to say, Thank you, now I have something to do. Persephone, take care of yourself, Jhon. Just please remember that I love you, she said to disappear. Jhon. I think I'll make some calls, he said, taking his phone and dialing a number. Hello, if I would like to make a reservation. In the name of Jhon Wick, 4 people. Yes, thank you, he said, hanging up his phone and going up to his room to prepare his suitcase. Time skip. After days of traveling, the Wick family arrived back in the United States, where they went to New York and went to the continental United States, the safest place at the moment. Jhon will be here for a while, girls, he said, looking at his granddaughters. Ram, how long, Grandpa? He said, seeing the man he considers a father. Jhon. As long as it takes until my old house is habitable again, he said as he entered the mainland. Towards several members of the Continental were watching Jhon being followed by 3 girls. Everyone was looking at the girls with some doubt, seeing a small resemblance to the best assassin of all time. Karen, we are pleased to have you here again, Mr. Wick, and along with more Wick, he said, giving Jhon a key, the best suite in the hotel. Jhon, thank you, he said, putting 2 piles of coins on the counter. Karen, no, Mr. Wick, it's going through the house, he said, returning the coins to Jhon. Jhon, thanks, he said, taking his coins. Let's go, girls, he said, going to the elevator, being followed by his granddaughters. In the room, when Jhon and his granddaughters entered, they saw a room that looked like a house with 3 king-size beds. Jhon, Ram and Rem sleep in the same bed. Tanya sleeps in that one and I sleep in this one, he said, putting his suitcase on the bed that was near the door. Tanya, please, a bigger bed, she said, throwing herself onto her bed. Ram. Immature, he said, looking at his older sister/cousin. Rem, Tanya Baka, she said with her neutral look. Tanya, shut up, you 2 little girls, she said, looking at her sisters/cousins. Jhon, stop fighting, I'll come back in a while. I'll go buy something, he said, leaving the hotel and going to where the taster was. At the Continental bar. Taster, Mr. Wick, nice to see you here, he said, seeing Jhon arrive. What can I offer you? Jhon, I came for a tasting. I need something fast, precise, with lots of bullets. Taster, fast, accurate, lots of bullets. Okay, look, here I have this, he said, showing a G36C. This is the weapon. Taster, G36C laser sight, vertical handle lamp and holographic sight, he said, looking at Jhon. Jhon, I need something robust and noisy, he said, looking at the taster. Taster, well, I have something for you, Mr. Wick, he said, taking out a shotgun. This is the shotgun. Jhon, it looks good, but I also need something fast and mobile, he said, implying that he needed guns. Taster, well, I have some like you are looking for, he said, taking out some weapons. Taster, what do you think, Mr. Wick? He said, looking at Jhon. Jhon, I like them, I'll take them, he said with a smile. Taster, something else, Mr. Wick? Jhon, yes, there's dessert, he said with a big smile. Taster, something sweet, he said, taking out 2 knives. Taster, only the best for the best, Mr. Wick, he said, looking at Jhon. I'll send it to your house once it's remodeled along with your old weapons. Jhon, yes, thank you, he said, putting 5 piles of coins on the counter. Taster, the house invites you back, Mr. Wick, he said, looking at Jhon with a big smile. Jhon, thank you, he said, taking his coins and going to his hotel room. In the room, Jhon's granddaughters were asleep while the Disney movie was on TV. Jhon, they are still girls, he said, looking at his granddaughters and taking them to their beds. Then he went to his bed and slept. Time skip. After several days, Jhon took his granddaughters to his old house, which had been remodeled to accommodate 4 people. Jhon, okay girls, please be careful, and Tanya, will you wait for you? Said his granddaughter, giving her the keys to her truck. Take care of each other. Tanya, understood Grandpa, she said, taking the keys. Come on, you 2, it's time to go to school, she said, getting into the car, being followed by her 2 sisters. Jhon, take care girls, he said, going to his room. When John's granddaughters left in the truck, Jhon entered his house to make a magic circle appear, from which his daughter Xenovia appeared, who was dressed in a blue dress. Xenovia, hi Dad, I came to find out how my girls are, she said, looking at her father with an indifferent look. Jhon, Xenovia, they stopped being your daughters when you let them be kidnapped. I had to go save them, and where the hell were you? He said, looking at his oldest daughter. Xenovia, Dad, we were looking for clues as to where they might be, she said, seeing her father seriously and without emotion. Jhon, and how is your sister? He said as he sat in his armchair watching his daughter while he poured himself a glass of whiskey. Xenovia, be calm knowing that Tanya is with you, but I want my babies with me. I am their mother and I have the right to be with them as they grow up, she said with a defiant look at her father. Jhon, Tell me why of all the times I called them to tell them about their daughter's events, the only one who gave me the reason for not being able to go was Asia, and you only gave me excuses and excuses for not being with them, he said while taking a sip of whiskey. Xenovia, I had more important things than being at those events. You know, father, my daughters will come with me, whether you like it or not, she said while summoning Durandal. Jhon, would you dare to kill your father? He said as he settled into his chair. Xenovia, I'll do it if you don't give me my baby, she said, pointing the Durandal at her father. Jhon, let's go ahead, kill me. Become the one who killed Baba Yaga, the one who killed her own father. Maybe they'll call you a black widow or something like that. Many will praise you for your achievement, but thousands will hunt you down until one day you have to go. Get away from those you love to save them, he said, taking another drink. Xenovia, you know I waited for you for years, and now that we were together we moved away, and now I'm threatening you and you still see me as if I were a child, she said, looking at Jhon with tears in her eyes. Jhon, you could have changed this if you had at least bothered to visit me without that idiot you call husband. If you're not going to kill me, get out of my house, he said with a serious look while he remained seated. Xenovia, I'll leave for now, but believe me, I'll come back for my daughter's father, she said, so a magic circle would appear and she would disappear. Jhon, I have to return to this house without magic, he said, to look for something that will cancel the magic in the whole house, and from a box near his TV he takes out a stone with a Nordic rune. This is the rune of protection. Jhon, here you are, he said, to put the stone on a shelf as if it were an ornament, and it is about to be placed shine ready. The whole house is now anti-magic. If they who enter will be like I educate them through the door, he said, to sit again in his armchair. After a few minutes in which Jhon was calmly drinking vodka, his phone received a call which he answered lazily. Jhon, this is Jhon T/and Wick. If you are a friend of my granddaughters, they are not at home, he said, annoyed on the phone. You had granddaughters, Jhon, and you never told me. What a friend, huh, said a woman with a Russian accent. Jhon, Atomic, I'm retired, I don't kill anymore, I'm a grandfather, look for someone, do you want to, he said, looking at his window. Atomic, I know, Jhon, but well, I have a problem. Just listen, Jhon, if I need your help, they kidnapped someone we have in common, okay, and I need the best of the best, he said with anguish in his voice. Jhon, who should I look for? I just want to know if you agree to do it, he said, a little annoyed. Atomic, look, I don't know who she is, okay, but they told me she knew you, okay. I practically don't know who she is. They just asked me to be the one who will look for her. She is in Japan, in Kyoto, and she needs urgent rescue, and they say that only you can help her, he said while his voice sounded worried. Jhon, I'll do it, I'll go to Kyoto, see you, he said as he hung up his phone. I think it's time to go on vacation with my granddaughters, he said as he went to his room. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Atomic, by all the gods, pretending to be mortal is tiring, he said while his voice changed, but he still remains Atomic. Calm down, sister. Once that mortal is here, he will never escape, and thanks to a small addition we have his daughter and an old friend, he said, looking where Asia was unconscious and Yazaka was beaten. Once we have what we want, we leave. They never learn the truth. John Wick's house could be seen to be completely quiet until he received a message on his phone. Jhon, they never learn, right, he said, turning off his phone and going to his basement with a hammer in hand. So John Wick began to do what he always does. Anger and hatred resurfaced, and this time nothing and no one will stop him. After a while, John Wick took his car with his suit and weapons to start driving towards Kyoto. But this time he would kill whoever got in his way without caring about anything or anyone. Jhon, girls, we're going on vacation to Kyoto, he said with a large black bag, putting it in a black van with tinted windows and armor. Grandpa, why so suddenly? She said as she came out of the bathroom with her sister behind her. Tanya, what the dwarves said, she said while looking at the ceiling with annoyance. Jhon, why will I teach you some of your grandfather's tricks? He said, smiling, giving them outfits identical to his own, used when he kills people. Ram. We are like Grandpa, said the two girls in the suit. Tanya, who are we going to kill? She said with her sadistic smile that made the strongest man in the world tremble. Yes, that smile. Jhon, you are going to protect the daughter of a friend of mine. I will go save her once more, he said, getting into the car being followed by his granddaughters. Time skip. After several days of traveling, Baba Yaga arrived at Kyoto and was received by the yokai faction as if he were their leader. They hosted him in Yasaka's house while he seemed to have memories of the beautiful house, while his granddaughters began to set traps in the same way that he would. hiding weapons throughout the house, and the two smallest were watching Kunu more closely than Tanya. Tanya, Grandpa, I'm sure you'll be fine on your own, she said, watching her grandfather take his weapons along with a pencil case full of pencils. Jhon, don't worry, little one. I'll take care of everything, he said with his affectionate smile towards his granddaughter to go towards a car given by the Yokia to begin his hunt against the people who kidnapped his daughter and friend from the past. It's been 1 week since Yhon is in Kyoto. There began to be murders and terrorist attacks throughout Kyoto, including several of the city's billboards were reduced to more than ashes all in a single week. Even the most corrupt of the government that day had all died with a pencil embedded in their eyes with such great force that the pencils pierced the back of the skull. In the news they began to hear that this was done by a vigilante, or an assassin hired by the government. But one thing was known, that Baba Yaga was in the shadows of Kyoto, and very angry, and anyone in her way was just an obstacle in her path, and would die as what they are. With Jhon T/N, you could see the best assassin in the world standing in front of his eldest daughter, and the scum she called husband. Jhon, get out of my way or I'll kill you, he said with his eyes full of determination. Issei, father-in-law, please calm down, he said, trying to calm Jhon, but only received a .50 caliber pistol cartridge in the knees to end up being silenced by a kick from Jhon. Xenovia, Dad, she said, trying to stop her father, but she was silenced by a blow to the stomach. Jhon. He was choking Issei with his foot on his throat. Get in my way once more and I'll forget I had daughters, he said, leaving the place, walking towards where he thought his daughter and Yasaka were kidnapped. Lair of the villains. The women who had kidnapped Asia and Yasaka were now just like them, but there was a silver-haired, scarred girl with them too. Yasaka, they are stupid, they knew it, right? She said, looking at those who had kidnapped her. We are sorry, they said at the same time, crying. Why don't you shut up already? You stupid bitches, said the black-haired boy with red tips for the first time. Shut up, we want them alive, said the brunette girl angrily. You will make it possible for me to see my father once more, she said, smiling as she began to hear gunshots in the distance. Music for me. You could see Jhon walking while he blew the heads off humans with sacred gear, demons, fallen angels, yokais, monsters, and many more. When he ran out of bullets from his shotgun, he kept walking, shooting with his assault rifle. When he ran out of ammunition from his assault rifles, he started shooting with his pistols until he got to where the chestnut was waiting for him with his brothers. Chestnut, it's a pleasure to see you again, Oto-sama, he said with a big smile showing his vampire fangs. Jhon, I hate vampires, he said, shooting at the brunette, but the bullet was stopped by a human with sacred gear who was still alive. Chestnut, you know, I see that you became somewhat slow, father, he said while licking the blood that fell near his lips. Jhon, you are nothing to me. I came for my daughter and my friend. I didn't do without them, he said, annoyed with his two pistols in hand. Die, old man, said the black-haired boy, starting to attack Jhon with his claws. So you could see how Jhon began to stop the blows, and from time to time he shot, but his shots did not hit anything more than grazing some limb of his enemy. When the boy managed to disarm Jhon, he began to fight hand to hand until Jhon took a knife from his short black vest to the black-haired boy on the back of his knees to kneel him, and have his knife at the boy's neck. Jhon, let go of my daughter and my friend and those girls you have suspicions about, and I won't kill him, he said, pressing more of the knife against the boy's neck. Chestnut, it's quite liberal, he said, seeing the silver-haired man next to him who let them go. But to the surprise of the captor, Jhon cut the throat of the black-haired boy, leaving the brown-haired girl shocked, who received 2 shots, one in the stomach and another in the shoulder. Jhon, never buck with me more than twice, he said, watching as the 2 new captors left with their tails between their legs while looking at Asia and Yasaka. It's a pleasure to see you, Lady Yasaka. Yasaka, the pleasure is mine. You know you look hexier with a beard, she said, smiling. Jhon, I'm not here for that, he said, seeing that Asia was still fainted, but he also saw the girl who was in a corner trembling, clinging to a gold coin from the Continental. Who wants to cry? Please don't hurt me, she said, trembling with fear and her eyes without a trace of life, seeing how Jhon approached her. Jhon, don't worry, little one, I won't hurt you. You can trust me, little one, he said, smiling kindly. Everything will be okay. I'm coming to save you, trust me. You could see Jhon kneeling down, extending his hand to the scarred girl, resembling a father comforting his youngest daughter, so that the girl hugged Jhon by the neck, crying as if she were a 5-year-old girl. Jhon, everything will be okay, girl. I promise I will protect you, he said with a kind smile, carrying the girl while Yasaka carried Asia. It was possible to see how those who had kidnapped Yasaka and Asis escaped but were hit by 3 golden rays that seemed to come from Greece. Once Jhon saved the three, he drove his car to Yasaka's house. At Yasaka's house there was also a massacre in the living room and outside Kuna's room. While Tanya had her psychopathic smile next to a shotgun with a lot of blood. Yasaka, your protege I suppose, she said somewhat nervously. Jhon, my granddaughter from her side, he said pointing to Asia. Yasaka, I see that I get more from you than from her, she said, seeing how Tanya laughed like crazy with the shotgun in her hands. Jhon, she is my pride along with her sisters, he said, leaving the girl he was carrying in a place without bodies and calming his granddaughter. After a few hours, Yasaka told Jhon that there was a villa of vampires, monsters and many things causing problems in Romania, and that they had allied with the new Cows Brigade and the Hero faction. Jhon, well, I guess the war has started again, right? He said, smiling at Yasaka while the aforementioned nodded. We will need an army, but I know where to find one, she said, smiling with some malice. Yasaka, by the way, Jhon, I wanted to tell you that Kunu is, he said, but was interrupted before finishing. Meanwhile, in a very faraway place in Japan, you could see a woman, but very tall, see the blonde woman who said she had a daughter with Jhon, Lady Dimitrescu, but John Wick knows where we are, also about my daughter, Dimitrescu, and what does it matter? He'll give you more sons and daughters when we have him all to ourselves, she said, smiling evilly while all the members of the Cows Brigade were dead in front of her. Welcome to the future, Mr. Wick. A new war has begun. The yokai have hired John Wick to investigate a village in Romania where vampires, werewolves and humans live. John T/N Wick left his granddaughters and the girl he rescued with Yasaka. Now he is going to Romania to see what happens. 20 hours hidden village of Romania. You could see John Wick walking through a forest without any problem while he had a Glock in one of his hands and a silver knife in the other, while something was watching him at night so that he would shine the flashlight of the gun towards a tree off the road, revealing, Jhon, a dog, he said, to continue walking along the path while it could be seen that there was a kind of power that kept the people who were on the path safe from those beasts. Until a scream echoed throughout the forest, causing Jhon to enter to see what happened until he reached a clearing where a girl was being attacked by 3 werewolves, to which Jhon quickly began to shoot them in the head in a fast, clean and effective way to reach where there was a woman who looked terrified at Jhon. Thank you, she said as she ran to hug Jhon. Jhon, go now, don't come back, he said to make the girl leave. He was finally arriving at the village. A grand welcome awaited him with multiple werewolves growling at him, while they scattered bodies all over the village. Jhon, so who's first? He said as he started shooting at the werewolves, always aiming at their heads. Hasai Jhon T/N Wick began a dance of death, moving with turns and steps while killing all the werewolves one by one. When he ran out of bullets, he took a silver knife from the inside pockets of his suit to stab the heads of those beasts. When all his knives ran out of edge, only one werewolf remained, the oldest. Jhon, boo, he said, scaring the last werewolf. We have to keep going. Baba Yaga would have gone towards the castle that was visible on the horizon, but not before taking every weapon that was useful to her. Although humans could see him as a normal human, beasts and supernatural beings could see 2 angels that formed a dark and evil aura. One had the form of a woman and was wearing a blindfold, while the other angel did not have a complexion. It was only a completely black tunic and its wings. One was only bones, a kind of anime, while the other was black as the night itself. Jhon's path was no longer interrupted by anyone else until he reached the castle, where at the entrance stood Lady Dimitrescu and the blonde vampire with her daughter. Jhon, so we'll solve this peacefully, madam, or I'll have to kill everyone in this castle, he said, while from the sleeves of his suit he took out 2 very sharp wooden stakes. Dimitrescu, you are an impressive human being, he said as his classrooms grew and became very sharp. Jhon, then it will be by bad means, he said, to start running against the vampires. The battle began with Jhon at a disadvantage, but he quickly reduced the numbers despite being old enough to last until the end, leaving only Dimitrescu and the other 2. Jhon, it's over, I won, he said with his gun loaded with only 6 bullets. Dimitrescu, I don't think so, Mr. Wick, she shouted, annoyed, snapping her fingers. Jhon, what the hell, he said, seeing a glyph under his feet. I won't die without taking someone with me. At that moment Jhon T/N Wick shot at the blonde and brunette vampires until a blinding flash covered the entire castle. 20 years later, Jhon T/N Wick could be seen appearing in what appeared to be his house. He entered as if nothing had happened, seeing that everything was the same except that there was that girl he had saved before, but she was bigger. Sorry, she was the only one who let me download. Sylvie, Father, she said, surprised while having tears in her eyes. Jhon, Sylvie, what happened? Wait, I'm your father, he said, confused, while the girl hugged him very affectionately. Jhon responded to the hug, and after a few minutes he pulled her away, staring at her. Jhon, what happened? He said, seeing that there was no trace of his granddaughters or anyone in his family except her. Sylvie, father, you died, she said with tears. Even though Jhon couldn't believe it, Sylvie showed him a video of her death. It was something he couldn't believe. Video. You could see how Jhon with several weapons began to shoot, first an AR-15 assault rifle, killing several demons, angels, fallen, yokais and Asgardians. When he ran out of AR-15 chargers, he took in 416 Hong Kong dollars, started shooting until he ran out of chargers to take a Benelli. Jhon, come on, I can do this all day, damn it, he shouted angrily as he continued fighting. Towards the video there were hours of Jhon and Wick shooting at everyone who crossed his path until he aimed at someone and his hands began to shake with fear. Jhon, don't make me do it, he shouted with anger, pointing at whoever it was. Before Jhon pulled the trigger, several explosions were heard to see Jhon and Wick fall dead with 2 shots to the head and several in the body until the person who killed him or people could be seen, which were his 2 daughters Asia and Xenovia. Both were crying their eyes out, but one of the 2 had a smile. Xenovia, you should have shot, she said, dropping the gun and starting to leave. Asia, I'm sorry, father, I'm sorry, she said, to cry a little on Jhon's bloody chest, and then put 2 coins on his eyes and left. At the end of the video, Jhon Wick's granddaughters appeared along with Sylvie and Kunu, who screamed and cried in pain, swearing to kill all of their murderers. End of video. Sylvie, you died, father, she said with tears, hugging Jhon, but here you are like Jhon. Temporary magic has a high life pressure on its user, he said, looking at Sylvie. Where are your nieces? Underworld, Continental Hotel. You could see 2 blonde girls and a black-haired girl entering the hotel, while everyone made way for them as if they were seeing the same devil in the flesh. Shiranti, Ladies Wick, nice to see you, he said with a smile. A room for 3 and a visit to the sunlight. As Rem dyes her hair and uses contact lenses. Ram, also dye and contact lenses. Tanya, towards as she said, putting the coins on the counter to be followed by her cousins. Manager, ah, the fearsome sisters of destiny, how nice to see you alive, he said, smiling with a cigar in his hand. Rem, stop playing games you want, she said, annoyed. Ram, mission, he said in a cold and very sharp way. Tanya, so it will be a formal or social occasion, she said, while the suit she was wearing had a small embroidery that was JW. Manager, formal. They will kill Issei Hyoto and all his wives, he said, smoking the cigar. The 3, we accept.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.